Well, we've had a request to provide a little movie that illustrates the two basic techniques for labelling plants in landscapes design when you're using gCADPlus. If you're working for some sort of local government authority developing, say, sports fields and so on, it's relatively large scale. This site is about 200 metres in diameter, has a couple of tennis courts in it. You would want to use a fairly small range of species. Perhaps they are species from the local area because you want to reinforce local indigenous planting. And you would use the same symbol over and over again. And if I zoom in here, this particular symbol is called shrub 2, and it's tagged to three instances of a species called CC. And here's another one, the same symbol, but it's tagged to two particular instances of a species with a two-letter code, AP. Now, if you work with gCADPlus and you want to work using that system, let's turn now to another drawing where I've tried to illustrate it. You can go to Library and Plants and Broadscale, and here you have the symbols that you see on the screen in this zone here. If you want an existing tree to remove or to retain, new large shrubs, new small shrubs, you just have a very restricted range of symbols to use. But you can tag them to any species that's in your attached plant database file. Let's have a look at the plant list. It's a very short list. It happens to be one for a site in Ohio, but it's a very short list indeed. So what we do when we want to tag this symbol, which is only one of only 3 or 4 symbols available to us, we go to gCADPlus, go down to Broadscale Planting, and we're going to label a group of symbols. So let's imagine that we're going to label, maybe one symbol represents a hosta, and we say OK. In the command area, we're asked to indicate, is it multi-tagging? And this one is. So we just select the symbol, move to the next one, and can you see that a line is being drawn from the insertion point of each symbol? Then we hit the Enter key because we've finished tagging, and then we want some text, and we'll put it here and make the text height 200. We can move that text if we want. So now we have a series of lines which links the center of each of those symbols, but we could use that symbol again to have a different species. So here's an example. That is the symbol called New Large Shrub, and it's been used for, and it counts the number, 3 instances of a species with a shortcut of MAOR. You can come back here and just check that. So we'll be looking for Mahonia, the Oregon grape holly, is there, and here's the same symbol used in a different species or tagged to a different species. You don't have to use those broad scale symbols. You can use some of the symbols that are brought into gCADPlus. And here's one example, a symbol, and that's been tagged to a plant called AT with the code ATNI, and it's possible to generate a plant schedule here, and ATNI stands for Atherium, the Japanese painted fern. So we don't have to use those symbols. The technique can be applied to all. You do lack a little bit of information that is fairly not intuitive, but can communicate to clients a little better. If we use the standard technique of identifying plants, if I now click on this one down in this one's been tagged in the standard gCADPlus way. You just use a variety of symbols. So this particular symbol is a symbol for agapanthus, and so it's been tagged. But when I click on a symbol, I see the botanical name, the common name, and the code showing in the properties box. You don't get any of that versatility, if you like, or information with it. Now, whether your client's probably not going to get a copy of gCADPlus, although they can use the demo version, the client might be very happy to be able to click and see the species. But the plant schedule, once the tagging's done, this is the standard plant schedule, and this time you identify plants by the symbol, and there's a botanical name, common name, and the total. So there's, if you like, a standard way, gCADPlus, plant schedules and lists, that's the standard way in drawing the schedule. You can have a custom schedule, or if you're working on a broader scale, do experiment with broad-scale planting. So I hope that helps explain the difference between the two systems, and you can almost work as we did in this middle zone here with a sort of hybrid system where we're using the standard symbols but applying the broad scale approach to it. So I hope that helps understand the difference between those two methods, and it really boils down to what you are after. If you want your clients to identify by code, you might choose the system on the right. You want the printed sheet, the layout design sheet, to show the symbols with the names so someone can identify them in that way. You can use an improvement in this system, if you like, by going gCADPlus and have a smart system where we apply a code to the center of all selected symbols. So we could select the symbols. We want all of these, and it's picked up the symbols. We can hit the enter key. Now I may not get the height correct in this instance, but I'll try 150 units, and we'll do that, and we now get a code. So now we have a combination of a code in the middle and the symbol, so we can identify this symbol here. Notice that the plant schedule itself doesn't put the tag in the center of the symbol. So there are lots of ways of labeling plants. We've developed these over the years because every designer we work with wants to do it his or her way, and they believe that's the best way. So we've tried to give a great deal of flexibility.